Hi everybody, Prepper Del here, welcome to my channel. Firstly, I'd just like to say today, thoughts go out to everybody involved in the Las Vegas shootings. Terrible thing, but thoughts go out to everybody out there, so God bless. So let's get on with this video. People quite often say, why are you a prepper, how long has it been going on? I'm going to show you some items that I've had since I first enlisted in the military in 1989, and this is all genuine stuff from then, and this is basically, you know, this was the start of prepping as such. Prepping has been prepared, basically. You know, it's not always about zombies attacking and everything like that. It's about being prepared for situations. So this is all genuine kit that I've had from 1989. Original Maglite that I bought from a PX. It needs a new bulb in it just now. Yellow lens. Yellow lens was best because we found that best for reading things like that, reading at night and stuff. It's marked. It's got everything. Our kit was marked with the Daybrite material, and then just marked it personally with your own. If you're wondering what the paracord's wrapped on it for, you see all that? It shows you how old it is. Paracord was wrapped, and then it had loops or split rings put on to go into buttonholes, and the reason for this was to make sure that you never lost any kit, so it was always tied onto your persons. People could get hold of your kit if you dropped it on trail and booby trap it, so that was the reason behind that. Everything, no matter what it was, even down to a spoon, was attached to your persons. So that's an original Maglite from 1990, bought in a PX. I love Maglites, brilliant bit of kit. That one just needs a new bulb, it's good to go. This, again, strapped, ready to go, with the original tin opener from my first ever Rat Pack in 1989. Bit of a keepsake. And then here we have the British Army standard issue knife. This was made in 1980, so this is an original knife that I've had that length of time. I absolutely love these things. If things could talk and tell you stories, these would tell you. As you can see, it's been well used but looked after. So that's the original British Army knife. Almost the first multi-tool of its day with a screwdriver attachment on it. So yeah, so prepping's been around a long time. For me, since 1989 when I first enlisted. You all have the Israeli bandages and things like this, the things like that now. This was the first field dressing issued to all British military personnel. You kept this in your pocket, on your sleeve, on your arm sleeve. There was an individual pocket on your DPM smock for it that just fitted this in. So that's an original first field trauma dressing. Still have that brilliant bit of kit. Everyone swears by Israeli bandages now, but that's what they were. Original mess tins, as you can see, well used. Still see the marks on it. Full of waterproof matches. I've been there, so I know that in all situations you're not going to get a fire lit all the time with a ferro rod. You need plenty of backup, and you need to fire quick. Some other things, instructions cards, patrol vehicle check cards, what to check for vehicles, things like that, for stopping searches, order cards. Now the reason we made flashcards, and you'll see this on a lot of notepads and things that we use, even inside. So a lot of these, the reasons behind this was for simple fact, you could write coordinates, you could write quick things on it and flash it to the helicopter pilots. You can flash your helicopter with it. So that's a lot of the reason for these. The flashcards, that's the reason behind it. So you can see we've got it on the notepads inside the pocket there for tactical. You'd open that and you could flash, and you could write down the grid you're going to and things like that, the zap numbers of your team and stuff. So that's the reason behind all that, with your zap number, your blood group, flashcards. And then you'd have orders cards, operation aid memoirs. Nothing changes. Even the military run on prompt cards, so you know, to have a prompt card isn't a failing. We're not all robots, we're not all pre-programmed to have every bit of knowledge stored in our brain. You know, you do have prompt cards. And then moving on to prompt cards, this is one I made in my younger days for first aid. So you can see there everything was done for the casualty. I was team medic, so everything was done. Highlighted all the main arteries, different types of arches, and then priority treatments. You can see that. It's not really changed. Priority is still the same: breathing, bleeding, breaks, burns we called it, but an order of priority in treating: P1, P2, P3 on an evac. So it hasn't changed. You can still imply these. The name might have changed a wee bit on how you say it and how you do it, but first aid is first aid. Shock symptoms, I made all these when I was being instructed. Shock treatment, breathing symptoms, breathing again, bleeding, breaks and fractures, tracheotomy, administering morphine. You can see, so everything was wrote down and highlighted what needed to do. Internal bleeding, when not to give morphine, rules of burns, rules of nines, 9%. So that's the rules of nines on the burns. Still the same stuff. Now they might call it different things, but still the same principles. IVs, general first aid, and then all your pressure points for your bleeding. We were instructed with the non-use of tourniquets. Tourniquet is a touchy subject because everybody seems to think they can buy one and use one, and you know it's not the case. So all your different pressure points, your breathing, simple breathing things, it becomes second nature for you. The recovery position, breathing continued, and then just your zap numbers of people, zap numbers and blood group of your patrol, and again checkpoints, check cards, range cards, A to H gate cards. So that's just a simple thing of how I've always prepped, and this is my original stuff of first prepping. My tactical case, this is still the original stuff in this. Flashcards, rules of engagement, order cards, original highlighters, and then in here's all original equipment. I just keep this in a box in the loft just as a keepsake. So in here was probably one of the oldest ferro rods you've seen. Ferro rod survival blanket. You can see how old it is just with the colour of the cord and how it's frayed and things like that. That was in there. And a mini survival kit. So, you know, we're not all amateurs in building survival kits, survival equipment. We've been doing it a long time. That's one there that has been there since 1989. So what you've got in there is CPR mask, scissors for cutting clothing, snare wire, needles, matches. I wouldn't even be surprised if they're still in there, but yep, original matches. Safety pins a bit rusty, but gloves, array of needles. So you can see, being prepared has always been something that I was always taught to do, and I've always done. So that's my kind of background in how I started prepping. So it'd be interesting to see what other people's backgrounds are. But for me, it was when I enlisted in the military straight from school. That's genuine stuff, original stuff, and that was my first introduction into prepping, was gear like that we were taught to do. After all these years, I've gone back to it. I've always had it, but I've gone back to it, and that's where I'm at just now. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Just the prompt notepads. There's nothing wrong with having prompt cards. The best people in the world use prompt cards. It's just human nature when you're in the shit of it. You've got something there to jog you along, and first aid and fire, you know, it's the principles of survival. So, you know, you need fire, shelter, water, and you need first aid. You need to know your first aid too. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. Hope I haven't bored you too much. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. As always, keep prepping. Most importantly, stay safe, guys. Really important these days. Stay safe out there and look after each other. As always, prep it.